Hello everyone. Hopefully all of you are fine. Students, today we'll start with lesson number 4 of history, tribals, ticus and the vision of a golden age. As we learned earlier that how Britishers made an entry into our country for trading purposes. But gradually they started acquiring territories. Means they started establishing their rule. Later on, they bothered peasants and farmers also with their oppressive policies. Now they made entry into the forests. Now, who were living in the forest? Tribal people. Who are these tribals? Commonly, we call them Adivasi. In our city, also, you can see so many tribal people around. So, in this chapter, we learn what was the effect of the advent of ticus or Britishers on the life of a tribal people. We will also learn about the lifestyle of the tribal people, and we will also learn about tribal leader Birsa Munda and the revolt led by him to free his people from the clutches of the Britishers. So let us begin our lesson. So students, as our chapter is related to tribal communities, first of all we should know who were tribals. Commonly these are known as Adivasis and they lived in forests only. They have their own identity. They don't follow the culture or religion we follow. Their culture, religion, everything is different from us. And their lifestyle is completely different from the rest of the world as they are much more close to nature and old traditional values. There are many tribal communities in India including Gonds, Santhal, Khasi, Garo, Munda and Bhutia. So let us start with the story of a man named Birsa. Birsa was born in Ulihatu in the Khunti district in Bengal Presidency, which is presently known as Jharkhand. Many believed that he had miraculous powers and he could cure all diseases and can also increase the growth of agricultural produce. Now, Birsa had himself declared that he was appointed by the god to save his people from trouble and free them from being slaves for the ticus or the outsiders. Now, who is the outsider here? Of course, Britishers. There were thousands of people who followed Birsa, believing that he was Bhagwan or God and that he had come to solve their problems. Now, since Birsa was born in the family of Mundas, his followers included people from this tribe as well as from other tribes like Santhals and Orans. Now, they all were unhappy. Now, why they were unhappy? With the changes that they were experiencing with the British rule coming into, and all of them were facing similar problems under the oppressive British rule. Now, to understand their problems, we need to understand their lifestyle. Let us have a look on lifestyle of tribals. As we have already read, they had a very different way of living. They were already leading a secluded life. Now, what is the meaning of secluded life? Is that lonely, alone in the forest. Mostly they used to live inside the forests and survived on available resources from the forest. Means whatever they are getting from the forests. Now let us talk about 19th century, where the tribal people belonging to the different parts of India, they were involved in variety of works. Some of them were practicing cultivation and they were specifically practicing jhum cultivation. We'll talk about this in detail. Some were gatherers and hunters. Some were herders. And some of them lead a settled life also like Mundas. So students, let us now learn about jhum cultivation. Chum cultivation is same as shifting cultivation. Students, you have already learned this in your previous class. So how it is done? It is done on the patches of the land in the forest. Students, in this, the cultivators, they followed a particular technique. First of all, tree tops are cut, like you can see in the picture. Now, why tree tops are cut? To allow the sunlight to reach the ground. And after that, they burnt the vegetation on the land to clear it for cultivation. And after that, they spread the ash, which contained potash, to fertilize the soil. So now what's next? Now they had to prepare the soil, right? So they prepared the soil by cutting the trees using axe and scratch the soil using hoe. Once the soil was prepared, they scattered the seeds on the field instead of regular plowing and sowing. Once the crop was ready and harvested, they moved to another field. So the thing is, once the field had been cultivated, it was left fallow for several years. Means it was left uncultivated, so the soil recovered its fertility. Students, shifting cultivators were mainly found on the hilly and forested tracts of northeast and central India. So students, as I already told you in the beginning, that the life of these tribal people was mainly dependent upon the forests. So they used to move freely inside the forest, and they also used the land of the forest for their personal use. There were tribals who lived by hunting animals and gathering forest produce. So obviously, forests were essential means for their survivals. One such tribal group was Gonds. They were the tribal community living in the forests of Odisha. They regularly went out on a collective hunt, and the meat they procured was divided among their people. Now take a look at this picture. These women belong to Gonds tribe from Odisha. The leaves they are carrying are pandano leaves from the forest. They will be using these leaves to make plates. Now take a look of these Santhal girls somewhere in Bihar. They are carrying firewood. Now where did these people get supplies of life and other things? Of course, from the forest. But sometimes they exchanged goods too, getting what they needed in return for their valuable forest produced. Sometimes they need to bought the things also from the small earnings they were having. And sometimes whenever there is natural calamity and shrank in the natural produce or forest produce, they had to work for other people also as a laborer. But many of them, like the Baigas of central India, they were reluctant to do work for others. Reluctant means they were not willing, they were unwilling to do work for others, as it was below the dignity of a Baiga to become a laborer. Now sometimes tribal groups, they needed to buy and sell things also. They need to buy things to meet their daily requirements. Some things they are not producing. Everything one cannot produce. Sometimes they had to go to market to buy the things. So markets developed. Now money lenders and traders came into existence. Traders, they started bringing things into the market and started selling them for high prices. Now to buy those things, these tribal people, they needed to take loan from the money lenders. Now money lenders, they started charging high interest from them. So for the tribals, this market and commerce often meant debt and poverty. Why? Because of course they would be buying things for their livelihood, and to buy those things from the market, they needed to take loan from the moneylenders, and in turn moneylenders were charging high interest from them. So this was making them more poorer. So they even considered these moneylenders and traders as evil outsiders and the cause of their misery. So students, many tribal groups lived by herding and rearing animals. Here we should understand who were pastoralists. Students, the pastoralists are nomadic tribes who move from one place to another in search of new pastures. Now what is pasture? Pasture is the grass which they use for grazing their cattle. So why do they need new pastures? As the grass in a particular part is exhausted according to the season. Whenever there is a seasonal change, they need to change the place. The Van Gujars of the Punjab hills and the Labadis of Andhra Pradesh were cattle herders. The Gadis of Kullu were shepherds, and the Bakkawals of Kashmir reared goats. Now students, some of them took to settled cultivation like Mundas of Chota Nagpur. So they started settling down at one place instead of moving from place to place. Now they began to use the plow. Earlier they were using axe and hoe, and they gradually got rights over the land also they were living on. So in many cases, like the Mundas of Chota Nagpur, the land belonged to the clan as a whole. Clan means a large family. We're talking about a large family right now, like we are using the term joint family. All the members of the clan were regarded as descendants of the original settlers. Now who is the original settler? Like take example of your house, your grandfather. He must have cleared some land or must be having some rights on the land in the village. Now that land now belonged to his descendants. Descendant means your father and then you. So here we are talking about the same. So all the members of the family were regarded as descendants. Now here students, British officials saw that settled tribes groups like the Gonds and Santals were more civilized, and the tribals who are living in the forest were considered to be wild and savage or dangerous. So they thought they needed to be settled and civilized. So students, here we come to an end to the part 1 of this lesson. In this part we learned about the life of tribals, means how they were living, their culture, their lifestyle, their food, and we also learned about shifting cultivation and what happened when traders and moneylenders they advent into their lives. We also learned about Birsa Munda. The rest of the lesson we'll be doing in next video. We will be learning about the effect of the colonial rule on the life of the tribal people. Thank you. Have a nice day. Kindly read the lesson properly.